Ah, good morning. I have morning face, but I'm awake. I might put myself in shadow. I don't care. So yeah, I woke up this morning and I'm thinking about what am I thinking about? I'm uh, thinking about stuff that's all about myself, which seems rather self-obsessed. Which is what I guess. I mean, what is this all but me being self-obsessed? I guess this channel. Um, I think it's the context of I'd sort of taken a step back from more public booktubing, YouTubing, um, with the pandemic, which was sort of fine. But now it's in a context of a lot of kind of social change happening around me, and happening to me, happening to us all with just the ideas of Black Lives Matter, of of white supremacy, of the white racism, white complicity, um, just the general ideas of race are, and like how we hold ourselves in the world, and that kind of that intersection of that with us all being public people nowadays, in a way that we maybe weren't as much before. Um, we all have a public side, but a lot of I think the pre-internet, that public side was you'd go to work and you'd have interactions with people there. Um, Maybe if you were a very political person, or even with your friends, like wider friend circle, that would be more of a public face, versus maybe more intimate relationships with people, like one-on-one friends. Myself being an introvert, having a wider friend circle isn't really a thing. I only have kind of a limited circle, so I'm quite quite a private person that way. Um, but now we're in an age where everyone, to one degree or another, has a public face, and it's trying to kind of figure out, well, what are your responsibilities? What are the urgencies? What things you need to do, either ethically or morally, in that space, in this new space we have. Um, on my other channel, we always get fixated on numbers. A number of people watch my videos. Which is, I guess, and I present a public face there. Um, and so I think I'm still struggling with what to do, how to express myself publicly appropriately, um, and in some sort of way that isn't some way that isn't um, egotistical or self-serving, um, that isn't hypocritical, uh, that's a meaningful expression of that. Um, and I do mean, like, just the context of me as a public face. I have a tiny public face. I understand that. It's not like, oh, the millions of people are waiting for bated breath of my pronouncement on racial issues in the world, on how we should all hold ourselves. It's like, no, I think it's more like there's a few people, and I've been quiet. I'd like to think I've been quiet not out of moral cowardice, but out of um, a sort of a thoughtfulness, at least in this case. There's a video on this channel, which is my failed attempt at it, but I think it is a failed attempt. So, a number of people have come back onto their channels and said, like, well, look, I can't not talk about this before I go forward with book reviews and stuff like that. And I'm probably of the same mind, but it's like, well, how do I talk about it? And how do I talk about it in a way that isn't completely hypocritical or dumb? I mean, I guess I just talk about briefly my own struggle with that in like a couple of minute video that doesn't waste people's time. Gonna have to work on that video though, so I don't think it's this video. This is definitely, this is private J, and I've been appreciating this. I'm not surprised that this channel I've made a ton of videos for this channel, because it does feel like this is the private me, and there's a lot more of the private me than there is a public me. Yeah, so it's an early morning ruminating video that I have here. It's stuff that's going through my head, just the oddness of our modern life. It does feel like it is, for me at least, it's something I did not expect to come to in my 50s. Is this suddenly dealing with our multimedia world? I expected I'd be sinking into late middle age and becoming ossified, and turns out you have to actually continue changing no matter what age you are, because the world changes around you. I guess I could not change, and that would be fine. May not be like particularly admirable. You feel like you see people who have stayed the same while the world has changed around them, and it's usually not a good look. Yeah, so I'm struggling with that change, which is good. All right, I'm gonna stop here.